How to learn any language effortlessly with this lazy method. You've probably seen this video title over and over again on YouTube, and I've got some bad news for you. I've got good ones as well, don't worry about it, but I've got some bad news for you. If they offering you a method and promising results effortlessly with something that will allow you to be lazy, they're lying to you. You know who they are, you've seen them, and I'm telling you, they're lying to you. You can get results, you can get spectacularly good results in a relatively short amount of time, but you will have to work hard, all right? Not going to lie to you. If you want results, you will have to work hard. I'm going to tell you how, though. This is this is a bad news. That there's no way around hard work. But the good news is that you can get results, and I'm going to tell you how. The first thing you need to do if you want to learn a language and you want to end up speaking fluently, not only understanding YouTube videos and podcasts and so on, but also you want to be able to speak fluently, the first thing you need to do is to ditch all this nonsense. Stop looking for the lazy way, how to learn effortlessly, gamify the process, blah, blah, blah. All the nonsense, forget about it. What you need to do is look for something that will give you results. Yeah, you need something that for every hour invested in learning a language, you will notice a significant improvement in your skills. And I'm going to give you a bunch of exercises you should do regularly that will allow you to do precisely that. So for every learning session you do, you will notice that after finishing that session, you are considerably better than you were at the beginning of the session. That's what you should aim for. Yeah, every single day, you should try to get way better than you were the previous day. Do not count the days or the hours. Make the hours count, all right? Do not count, I've done 2,000 hours of learning Spanish with whatever. No. Make each hour count, yeah? How? Well, you need basically three things if you want to learn a language. I'm going to give you the most efficient way, the most time efficient and the most effective way to learn each one of those three things. So the three things are obviously vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar in this particular order, because vocabulary is by far the most important thing. If you don't know the words, you will not understand, and you certainly won't be able to speak the language. So you need to start with vocabulary, then you need to learn the right pronunciation, and finally you need to learn grammar, which is way easier than you think if you know vocabulary. Because if you know vocabulary, you can simply get exposed to the language and you learn all the grammar pretty easily in context. But I will also give you a very specific and very targeted, time-efficient way to learn grammar, which is also very hard work, and you will have to struggle, but it works, and you will get results fast with that. So let's start with vocabulary. The best and fastest way to memorize a lot of words, and you will have to learn a lot of words if you want to learn a language fast, is mnemonic associations. All right? If you're not familiar with this technique, I've got lots and lots of tutorials on how to do this. Go watch them. It's a playlist I've got with all my tutorials. Screen share, and I do it with hundreds of examples, and you can learn how to do it. You can imitate what I do there, and you can start doing it yourself. But basically, what you need to do is take each word, so the new word you're trying to learn, and the original meaning of the word in your native language, and you create some sort of mental association between them. Yeah, you need images, you need to visualize the words, and then you associate them. Let's do a couple of examples. For example, casa is house in Spanish. You probably knew that already. So what you need to do first is visualize a house, ideally your house, or your house where you grew up or something like that. And need a mental image for that. So make sure you close your eyes if you have to. Visualize it. And now you need to find something that sounds like casa. This is a dumb example, I know, because everyone knows what casa means, because, you know, mi casa, su casa, blah, blah, blah. It's one of those words that everyone knows. But yeah, let's use it as an example. So you need to find something that sounds like cas, cos, cos, something like that. Maybe pause the video and think about it. Try to find something that sounds like cas, cos, kiss. Yeah, the vowels can change, but the consonants, the k and the s, should stay the same, ideally. Once you've got a mental image of something that sounds like that, kiss is a good one. It's very impactful. You have to visualize that, and you have to visualize the previous image, and you have to create some sort of association with them. So if you visualize your house and kiss, well, I don't know how often you get kissed in your house, but you should visualize that as vividly as possible. Yeah. If you found something else that sounds like casa, then that's great as well. And this is how the association technique works. You need to actually visualize it. Yeah. The more vivid it is, the more senses you use. Not only your vision, you don't have to just visualize it, but also if you include sounds, even smells, feelings, anything that makes it more memorable, more vivid, more impactful, the more likely you are to remember it. This is basic, and this is how your brain works. We're all wired like that. Yeah, we remember things that are like that instead of just really mundane, boring things. So this is what you do with hundreds of words a day if you need to memorize lots of vocabulary fast. And you need to memorize lots of vocabulary fast if you're trying to learn a language from scratch, because you need to know thousands and thousands of words to understand a language and to be able to speak. So vocabulary fast. Once you've been doing this with several hundred words, ideally over 1,000, you need to start listening to the language a lot. In fact, you should be doing this with ideally over 100 words a day, and also listening to the language every single day. If you do these two things, you will very soon understand pretty much everything in the language. If you keep doing both things, if you just memorize a few words for a couple of days and then stop and then try again next month, it's not gonna happen. You're not gonna make it. You need to memorize words day in and day out, new words, and review the previous ones, right? You review them simply by listening. If they were important, they will show up in whatever you're listening to, and you will review them simply by listening and hearing them in context. And with these two things, you can understand any language fast. And then there's the speaking part. And for this, you will need the third secret technique, not really secret, but it's highly, highly effective, that I use. This is retrieval practice. And for this, you will need a long list of words and sentences, words with example sentences, in the language you're trying to learn and in your own language. So each sentence, each word with an example sentence and the translation. And you'll create flashcards, thousands of them, and you'll get the sentences in your language first, always in your language first, and you will translate verbally into the language that you're learning. Aloud, yeah? You'll say the sentence aloud. And then you'll get immediate feedback. And if you made mistakes, you'll see it immediately and you'll repeat the sentence aloud correctly this time. And then you'll do it with the next sentence and the next one and so on and so forth. And you'll have to do this with thousands of sentences. A few hundred a day is good. So in a month, you'll have done, I don't know, 5,000 maybe. By doing this, you'll force yourself to think in the language. You'll increase your active vocabulary because unlike live conversation, here you are forcing yourself to use words that you wouldn't normally use. because the flashcards will tell you which words you have to say. You're saying them aloud. You are getting immediate feedback. So you work in every single skill, except pronunciation, which you can work with listening and repeating. That's easy. But retrieval practice is great for fluency and accuracy. You're getting corrected and you're thinking in the language and you're forcing yourself to speak in the language. This is infinitely better than speaking to native speakers, because native speakers will stop correcting you very quickly because they get bored or they don't want to be rude. And also you will use the same basic vocab over and over again because that's your comfort zone. Yeah, you should always try to get out of your comfort zone. So this retrieval practice will always be hard. It will always be difficult. You will hate it. But every hour spent doing this exercise is gold. Every hour spent doing this exercise is worth dozens of hours of input, because after each session, you'll be able to say way more in the language than before the session. You just have to do an hour of this every day. 15 minutes a day if you don't have much time or discipline. But that's it. These are the 3 exercises you need to do every single day. One of them is not even an exercise. One of them is just a habit. Yeah. Memorization is difficult, especially if you're not experienced with it. It can be a lot of fun if you are good at it. Yeah. If you're good at memorizing things after training your associations, then it's just fun. You take the words and you create visual images, associations, and you create stupid stories with it, and it's fun. You have fun with it. It's creative, it's fun. Retrieval practice is hard work. You have to do both, right? You do these 2 things daily, and then listening is just, it's not even an exercise. Just put some podcast on, native speaker podcast, no Spanish for beginners or some nonsense like that. Native speaker podcast from day one, and you just play it in the background while you do something else. When you go for a run, you work out, you clean the house, whatever, you're commuting. Just find activities that you can do while listening to it, and listen to it daily. But do not fall in this trap of thinking that just listening a lot will fix everything. It's not the ultimate language learning hack or anything like that. Even if you spend thousands of hours listening to the language, you will never be very good at the language if you just do that. Okay? So you have to combine it with memorization of vocabulary and with retrieval practice, especially for your speaking. Yeah? I repeat, memorization of vocabulary, listening regularly, native speaker content, and retrieval practice for your speaking. Do these 3 things daily, and in a matter of weeks, you'll notice that your comprehension and your speaking skyrocket. They get way better, but you have to do it as regularly as possible, right?